the basement, no longer alone, with my homegirl Terez on the microphone. Music, politics, or just chatting it up. Brunch in the basement, see that's what's up. You never know who might run through. Legendary artist or someone brand new. You miss a lot when you miss one day. At least that's what I heard somebody say. But it doesn't really matter what whoever says. It's always a good show with JaVonne and Terez. Yeah. Brunch in the basement with JaVonne and Terez. Yeah. Let's see who we got today or what we doing today or whatever it is, it's gonna be good. Woo!
I love you all so much.
Just whatever the first thing that
Adam and Eve.
we can see you now. And let the shenanigans begin, because here we go. It's not even playing and you can hear it in the background. I don't even know what the heck is going on. Just let it go, because I mean, like, I'm not doing that.
You're not doing that?
No, that was not me. That was never me. I don't even, it's doing its own thing. So we got to make it do what it do. But
Huh? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
speak again? I can't.
You can't hear me?
Okay.
You know, I was on. You hearing double?
Yeah, I'm definitely hearing like the show after the show.
Oh. Is that anything like the after party?
Something like that. I'm gonna step out and let you continue, and then I'll be right back.
Okay, what I'm trying to do is power up from my laptop. I think I'm successful now. Let me just try, because that's an easier. I can see it better. Ah, there we go. So let me do this. Bloop. Bloop, bloop. I said bloop. Okay, there we go. Hello, good people. How's everybody doing today? On today, as some people would say. Hi, Kimberly. Good morning. Good morning, Brandon. Good morning, Nathan. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I hope you guys have had a restful time off. And what I mean by that is time away from the shenanigans. Oops, there's my alarm. You know, old people need alarms to remind them of stuff. That's hilarious. Let me shut that off. But, I mean, some of us need a little more,
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
And
yes, good morning to everybody. Good morning, Kimberly. How you doing? Good morning, Brandon. Good morning, Nathan James. How you doing?
yes. Yeah, Kimberly. I think it's gonna. You know what? Rest, sis. Rest. I think that there's a lot of people still processing. I know I am. And I know at some point I'm going to conclude my thoughts and dust myself off, like many of us are, and try to make the world a better place the way that I contribute. And I think that it's a good man in the mirror opportunity, and an opportunity to, what's the word I want to use carefully, recalibrate a lot of things, mind, body, spirit.
Absolutely.
Block. Absolutely. And just, and be aware and just be focused for the next 4 years.
At least.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, I've been troubled and struggling with, how to proceed. with our show. And I'm so glad that even way before 11, people were hitting me up. Y'all going on at 11? And when I programmed the show to start, already Kimberly was on, Brandon was on before we started. So it just goes to it lets me know that it reinforces, doesn't let me know, I already knew that we have a community here, and here is a safe space for us. However, we have to be reminded, because somebody said something to me on Facebook that I didn't like, so I commented back to him about what he said, and he he said to me, "Get off of my social media," which made me think, all right, Kimberly, we got you, babe. Which made me think, your social media, Negro, you think you own it? You think you own Facebook? Your Facebook page, or the page with your name, where you are able to post, comment, put videos, and act out whatever you want to do. The page that you're allotted, the one little space in the massive network, which is Facebook, you think you own it.
That's a testimony to the culture thinking that they are the center of the universe. And the consistent problem with that has been, it's awfully crowded there.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, we have to be cognizant of what we own and what we don't own. What we are entitled to at this point and what we are not entitled to.
Correct.
It's because one of the things that people are fearful of right now and concerned about are their rights. Our rights, our very existence. And therefore, my suggestion is that we as a community, or you as an individual, or us as individuals, or us collectively, should start doing the one thing that it is apparent that we don't do often enough, which is read and study.
Who made that up?
Who made what up? Reading and studying?
That we don't read and study.
No, the reason why I say that is because people seem to be confused about what their rights are. People seem to be confused, even to the basic things. Okay, so I will say allegedly, because I did not experience or witness this firsthand. Okay. So we all know that there's a big thing about tariffs, right? Tariffs have been put on the collective table, right?
Mm-hmm.
So allegedly, a woman said, and good morning, Janelle. Looking forward. Gigi is going to join us this afternoon. So allegedly, this woman was upset and concerned because her husband, the family lives in Pennsylvania. The husband works in a manufacturing company. He went to work on Thursday or Friday, and the boss had all of the employees, hundreds somewhat people, get together for a meeting. And the boss said, due to the upcoming tariffs, we will not be able to give you your Christmas bonuses.
Right.
And there may be some cuts going forward because the company is going to have to pay those tariffs.
Right.
We may not be able to afford to pay you, but definitely we are going to try to save money in advance by not giving you a Christmas bonus.
Right.
So the employees were all up in arms, Like, what are you talking about? China's going to pay the tariffs.
Like Mexico paid for the wall, right? I'm sorry, I digress.
Right. So the employer had to do a whole webinar and a whole educational seminar for his employees who have not read and studied, who do not understand. See, you can talk to people and people will tell you different things. You know, people will tell you their understanding, which may not be actually what it is. Look it up. I think there's still dictionaries, and for now, you can still get some correct information online that may be just up, that may be for a limited time only. Get your information now, but if you look up tariffs, if you go back to your old dust off the dictionary, if you got your old civics high school textbooks, don't throw them out now. Now's the time you're going to need them. Look up what a tariff is. And it's going to, the American companies that sell foreign goods are going to have to pay the tariffs. And so people are now, like she said, her husband came back and had to explain to her what that meant for them and what that could mean for them. And
what that is going to mean. He's right.
And the other thing is entitlements are in jeopardy. So you lose your job, and entitlements is unemployment. That's an entitlement. Public assistance, entitlement. WIC. When Gigi comes on, maybe she's read the part in Project 2025 when they talk about WIC and things like that. Baby formula, they want to have a bidding war and only sell one type of milk or formula for infants. And as we know, well, I know because of the business that I'm in, that not because of, and also from babysitting, I've not given birth, so let's be clear about that. But
well, you were once a baby, so we all don't eat and drink the same thing.
So we can't, and some babies need additional iron in their milk. Some babies are allergic to certain things in formulas. Some, so that's why they have different types of formula, and so they want to eliminate the competition and just have one thing, and that is dangerous. So, the people who did not bother to look at Project 2025 or think somehow that it would not, impact them, their families, their daughters, their children, their grandchildren, we all gonna find out. We're all in this together, and we're in this separately but together.
If he controls the Congress or intimidates the Congress, there's the approval right there. Like we really have to have folks that are going to make a difference, which is the reason why now local elections and all of the steps all the way above are so important, because they cannot be all bleeding. They cannot be all red, because too many people that think like him occupy these seats, and they're out of touch, unfortunately. They're out of touch. And, it's interesting when they use the word tariff, because tariff is just another word for saying taxes, right? But, they're going to change up some stuff, just like he changed up the name of Project 2025.
To Agenda 47.
Yeah, Agenda 47. But it's the same damn thing. It's the same thing. And, and I saw that piece, JaVonne, you're speaking about, where people just don't know. But this election, in my opinion, was not about facts. It wasn't about qualifications. I saw a video that captured most of what I understand to be true about it. And it is about power and control, right? And the video consisted of an Asian, I'm not sure of where he was from, talking to one of the
Yeah,
white uh, colony.
I saw it. I
Yeah,
saw it.
and they're basically having lunch, and he just breaks it down really, really, really simply. You know, yeah, you're right. If it was about facts, we wouldn't be here. Absolutely, because quite frankly, and I'll say it again, I've said it before, on paper, she's been more qualified than most of the presidents that we've had seated.
Ever.
Okay. So it is not that, it is about power and control, right? And there is some ridiculous notion that this land that was made for you and me by many of our ancestors, that is the part that if you erase the Middle Passage out of history books, then you erase our contribution to this jam, right? You erase the contributions of African Americans, of I'm sorry, excuse me, of Native Americans. You erase the contributions of Asian Americans. Like you erase all of that. You know, as the gentleman pointed out in the video that I was watching briefly, he told him, do you think that you guys did this by yourself? And he's like, well, who else did? That spoke volumes to me,
Yeah, yeah.
because it's really convenient for you to think that no one else contributed to this jam. So erasing our history here essentially means erasing our contribution to the United States of America. And I had to explain, to a younger person, I believe he was 11 or 12, in layman's terms about why everybody that he was experiencing was so upset. And I said, think about if you go buy a piece of land, because the United States is one big corporation. Don't let them tell you any different, which is the reason why we have a voting system. They'll never go on record for saying it isn't, but they can't say it, they can't say it is either. But it's a corporation, right? And we have positions, we have a board, we have presidents and vice presidents and all those things that are connected. If you have an ink aside your own business, that's what this is. It's the United States, right? And you have a governing board, but unfortunately, the governing board, a lot of the positions and people in it have been bought. It's corrupt, and unfortunately, there are a group of people that believe that this country needs to go one particular way to exist. Now, I'll swing back to the video for a second, because when he said, well, who did? And then the gentleman offered Asian Americans help build the railroads, African Americans, too many things to name, Native American, too many things to name, he shucked it off like, well, quite frankly, where are we, what are we going to have? Basically, it really basically boiled down to, it felt like a game of marbles. What are we going to have? Because it's going to be too tan in a minute, and what are we going to do? We're going to be displaced. You're projecting your displacement, as opposed to you being in a space that is multicultural, and you still surviving and thriving, but you need to have it all. See, and that's the piece there, all or nothing. And in the process of all or nothing, there's this huge proverbial tug of war going that you're only playing with yourself.
Yeah.
All or nothing, or you're going to throw your marbles off the board, which essentially is where we're headed if we don't get this together. And I say if, because I want to, what they can't take, agree, again, is my hope for the future. They will not take my desire for the future away. That's giving folks far too much power, to take your hope and desire for what you perceive this world, or this country, and I'll say world, because they have a interesting thing of going different places. United States is one space, but
Right.
they've been around the world now, with this position.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not, and none of this is new. This has all been planned, and we just have to figure out how we're going. I mean, we are going forward because we're not going backwards. So that's just a fact.
Right.
We can't. Not just for ourselves, but for our ancestors, for our children, for the future.
Well, we've grown too much, and we've grown too much as a society, and however, there's the fundamentals. There's a group of people that have not grown past a certain point. They refuse to grow past a certain point, right? They refuse to evolve past a certain point to include everybody in this particular equation. Therefore, this is going to look a lot different for some. It's going to be a lot different. And they will upgrade their measures, though, going from slavery to mass incarceration, and then the idea that they tell folks, you can't vote if you've been incarcerated or you have felonies. They blew that out the water, didn't they?
Yeah.
Didn't they?
Yeah.
Because you offer the highest seat in the country to a felon.
It's so funny. It's
Take
so
that right off
funny
the job.
how the people just don't believe that he did what he did, or that he's guilty of anything. It's so weird. I don't even understand it.
But do you see that the positive thing that was captured here is that everything that they have been saying with regard to how you run and who's qualified is a farce, because you have a whole convicted felon that shouldn't even be allowed to vote, right? And that's what they've been telling everybody the whole time. Or you have mass amount of black and brown people in jail, and then you tell them they have no rights, they have no voting rights. But you got a whole convicted felon sitting in the White House. Interesting.
I know.
I want them to, and I think we've gotten to the point where, things are getting, well, they've been verbally disrespectful. What I heard Jackass Jones say about Tish James.
Oh my God.
Turned my stomach.
Yeah.
Turned my stomach. But I bet, but see, where I come from, when you resort to name calling, that means you have no argument, or that means you're actually afraid. That's what that means. Because you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
It showed more about who you were than her.
Yeah. When people come at you, just understand that it has everything to do with them and nothing to do with you. I have people like trolling me and messages and stuff, and some of it I looked at just to see what they're saying, and then most of it I'm just deleting. I don't even give a shit what you're saying. I'm still trying to decide, do I block certain people because I just don't want to deal with them anymore. I don't even care that I don't understand you, and I don't have to understand you. Go do your life. I know there are certain things that are going to negatively impact them. Should things fall out as promised, the very same people that wanted this, well, you're getting what you want. It's like the alleged story of a gentleman whose name is out there, Angel Rodriguez. I think people have heard this story where he voted for this guy, and his neighbors, he lives in a sea of blood, and his kids plays with the kids next door, and the people next door said, "Do not bring your kids over here. You deserve to be deported." And started pew pewing over the kid's head. Pew pew. And so this gentleman was crying and called the police, and the officer was standing there saying, "No español." And now you on TikTok crying. But here's another thing that's interesting. I saw another thing where a man said that he asked his coworker, who is someone who immigrated here from Venezuela, I think, or something like that. I think it's Venezuela, somewhere near there. And he asked him, he said, "You voted for this guy. Why?" He said, "Because we were afraid." So you were afraid, so you voted for this? Yeah, we wanted to show him we're on his side. No, papi, no, bad move, bad move. No, that's like saying they want to kill me. They have a gun. They just need bullets. So let me just give them the bullets so they know I'm their friend.
Serious cases, Stockholm, right?
Yeah.
You know, yeah. And honestly, I believe a lot of that to be true. I believe that people think that they could throw these hats on, and it'll make a difference to the messages being told if and when this is even happening. And then I also have a friend, not a friend. I'm sorry. This is I think she said she was Mexican. That is in my physical therapy, and she kind of laughed a bit because she said he's not going to do that. She said he remember when he said he was going to block everybody and build the wall. He didn't build the wall. He's just saying that to get elected, and then he's going to go do whatever it is that they do.
What if okay? So if he's known not to keep his promises, then what was the point?
Well, it's their contention, and I kind of asked her to help me understand. It's her contention that you say anything you have to get into office, to get elected. And then when you get there, you're about something totally different.
Yeah,
she does not.
Yeah, Project 2025.
Well, she doesn't believe that he's going to do half of that. She believes that he was saying that to get elected. I said, okay, girl. Yeah, that's how the conversation ended.
So here's the thing. Saying they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs is more effective than saying, I want to help you buy your first house. I want to give tax cuts to those earning $400,000 and less. I want to give you child care tax cuts. I want to give businesses assistance. These things, they're eating the cats and eating the dogs.
Well, remember,
and performing imaginary sex acts on a microphone is more effective.
Clearly, it is. You're answering your own question.
And I want to help you. I've already started uniting the political parties, because I have half of y'all, all of y'all who were in that last administration over there are supporting me. All of that.
That thing don't want us united.
I understand.
That thing don't want us united.
I get that. I get that. Mm-hmm. And but that's the thing that baffles me. Like
you know what? I'm glad it baffles you. I'm absolutely glad it baffles you, because if it didn't baffle you, if it did not baffle you, that means that you would be like-minded. I'm absolutely happy that it baffles the god fuck out of you.
It really does.
If it didn't, you'd be thinking just like them, and then you'd be part of what works, what doesn't work. Excuse me.
I understand nefarious people to a certain degree because I have studied, you know.
Mhm.
I've studied psychology, forensic psychology, abnormal psychology. I understand certain things. I've worked in a field where, you come across things that are reprehensible things that, occur in life.
Right.
So I in order to help people, sometimes what I've learned is that you have to start with where they are. There are just some people I cannot get there. I can get there in my work because I have years and years of experience in how to, you know, do my job. And I'm going to
Mhm.
do my job
Mhm.
with respect to everybody and for
Mhm.
everybody. It's my job. Make sure that we do things well, right? And in the best case scenario, I'm going to get you the help that you need to at least behave appropriately. And if you can't, then get to step. But I'm going to give you opportunities to get your shit together. This here right here, it's your every human being, I don't care who you are, has a woman or a female in your life.
Okay. You're taking for granted that people really like that anyway? Some folks have real strange relationships with the women in their life, in their orbit.
Clearly, clearly, clearly. But
Very
I
deep.
would I would like to think that at least 75% of people care about a woman.
I'd like to think that too. But the reality is this, and I'll say this, and I also want to dispel one of the this misleading comments too about black men not supporting black
Oh,
women because
absolutely,
when
absolutely.
the figures came out, and I did the first day, I was exhausted on Wednesday, but Thursday I decided I wanted to take a look and I wanted to do my own finger tapping and look at what the information that was out there and actually look it up myself, right? And you know, the stuff that was flying around about African American men not voting for her was a bold-faced lie, and it was divisive. And I just want to remind people that media has a way of being bought and paid too, right? And media also has a way of spinning narratives. And like anything else, if you say it long enough, people will either start to believe it. All you gotta do is be consistent. That's with anything, but particularly with information. You keep saying the wrong thing, the wrong thing, the wrong thing. People hear that and it becomes like subliminal suggestion. That's how that's in advertising, how you just keep putting things around and words around, and people see that and they become programmed, right? Colors, everything is important in advertising. So are words.
Mhm.
So you have this thing going back and forth that black men did not vote for her, and that is absolutely not true. You know, but what was also interesting in that we use this term "playing in our faces," right? Um, of course, we knew that white men were going to support the rhetoric, right? I think that people just kind of assumed that, and it showed out to be true in the numbers.
Mhm.
But there was an overwhelming amount of white women that also co signed the rhetoric.
Exactly.
And women were on the ticket to lose so much. And in doing so, you made that particular individual, because I don't even want to say his name,
Yeah, we not doing that.
you're voting against your own interests just because you need to save white America.
Susan B. Anthony be damned. A friend of mine named Chris Smith is watching us on Facebook. Um Chris, how you doing, man? If you are able to switch over to YouTube, or I think the other Facebook page, the in the basement with JaVonne and Terez page on Facebook, then I will be able to put your comment up. But if you stay on my Facebook page, that's cool too, because I can see you and I will read your comment. Chris says, let's look at the numbers. The 70 plus million people who voted this time is about the same who voted in 2020. However, this race, there were 15 plus million who did not vote, 15 million less than who voted for Joe, 70 million for the other guy. However, not Jewish women. 76% of Jewish women voted for Harris.
I'll say this. I was very disappointed to see. I know that Pennsylvania rather, was a swing state, has always been, pretty much, if I'm not mistaken. But I was really, really, really disappointed in the turnout of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, because of the large number of folk that reside there, the people that did not vote in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. You know, we did so much work as Black women in Georgia, and that managed to flip again, you know. So it's interesting. It's interesting. The large number, and I think he has a point, the large number of people who just did not vote, which is essentially voting, you know. And if you don't vote, wherever the majority is, that is where your cast is by default, you know. But looking at the numbers of the folks that didn't vote was very alarming. Because you're just going to go with status quo because you feel what exactly? You don't like either candidate? Well, you don't get to not like either candidate, because one of them is going to affect how we all live.
Yeah.
I wish people wouldn't even see not voting as an option. I wish voting at some degree was connected to your paycheck. You vote, you get your check that week.
Yeah. There were long lines at all of my polling places throughout the day. You know, and
Wow.
here's the thing. I don't want to, so I won't. Okay. I just have some doubts and some questions, and I'm not in a position to cast my doubts without sounding possibly like a lunatic. I just
Lunatics are in for the fall.
Yeah, that's true, but I'm not down with that shit. And I don't want to cause unnecessary angst based on things that I don't know, things that I feel, things that I think, you know. What's up, Chris? Thanks for switching over, man. I appreciate you. I really do. Yeah, but all I want to say, let me just say this.
Mm-hmm.
There was very high momentum for Kamala. The crowds at her rallies were insane up to and through the very last day. Not so much on the other side.
I spoke to a couple of people that went to her rallies, and one of the beautiful things that Sage Gallen, who is a friend to the show that we know,
Hey, Sage.
Yeah, he went to the rally in DC, and he said the beautiful thing about it is that you had all people from all walks together, just hanging out and just introducing themselves and just being together, from all different walks of life. And he said that was really beautiful to see. When we come together, it's an amazing thing to see. It doesn't matter doesn't matter. Nothing about you matters other than where your heart is, and and what you want to do to move things forward, and your hope in your heart.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's just hard when the bloody rallies were not filled to capacity. were not as enthusiastic. There were the momentum was completely being lost. And had she had a full year, things could have been different.
Sorry.
I just you getting cues, people telling you what to say. Tell them to come on the show.
No, no, no. No,
Come on
it's
the
a
show.
phone
Give
call.
them the link. Give them the link. Come on. You got something to say? Say it. Put it in the chat. Let's go. We need that. We need that in the chat. Let's go. Let's put it up here. But anyway, like I'm saying, um it's just hard to see how you could do everything right. And it's the American way. You could do everything right, but if you don't look the way they want you to look, then that's that.
Yeah.
But one thing that I would like to bring back to the show that we used to do. Thank you, Chris. So again, 70 plus million voted for Trump. Same number like in 2020 and 2024, 15 million registered Democrats did not vote at all. Therefore, there were 15 million less votes for Harris. And if that's what it is, shame on them.
Yeah.
Shame on you.
Yeah.
So that's that. So the thing that I'd like to bring back to the show that we haven't done since we've been back on the show is that Black History moment. Because here's the thing. There's if you want to see what the future may look like going forward, you could take a look at Florida in terms of the laws and those things that DeSantis has already started, i.e., book banning in schools and things of that nature. I would like to recommend, because they're Black history books, things that show LGBTQ positive reinforcements for empathy, period. Anything that would help children to grow up and understand that it's good to be kind. Anything that would help children to learn the contributions to society by other people that don't look white, to make it seem as though slavery was good. That was one of the things that they wanted to put, and yes, book banning hurts my feelings as well. So my suggestion, especially for those who have young children, grandchildren, and things like that, start buying books now. Go to the banned book club. Velshi on MSNBC has a list of books that are banned. I'm sure that you might be able to find another place where books that are banned. There are people who do coloring books and children's stories, showing stories about LGBT kids and kids of color and things of that nature. Start buying those books. Things that you see on the internet that you find interesting, I would suggest and to that, going things that will teach you about Black history and so forth and so on. I would suggest getting USBs and start downloading those things on USBs. I'm gonna explain to you something. There was once upon a time. Visit the American Library Association and look for a list of books that have been banned if you want a place to start.
Good idea.
Yeah, that's an excellent way to start. But please, because the future, those who forget are doomed to repeat. I really believe that if you do not remember the history, if you're not taught the history, and somewhere along the line, we have forgotten history. There was a time in history where tariffs were a thing. People don't remember what that looked like and what it means. And here we are back to tariffs. There was a time in history where there were no unions and people voted against unions in this. There was a time where women couldn't vote and people voted against women's rights. You know, women were dying with wire hangers, trying to end pregnancies. People voted for that to go back. So this is proof that those who forget are doomed to repeat. And one thing that I would like to do for as long as we can, I would like to bring back the Black History moment. And I remember there was a video, and I remember seeing it. I remember very clearly seeing it years ago, where he was being interviewed and he said that he was not interested in politics. This was many, many moons ago. He said he wasn't interested in politics, but if he did run, he'd run as a Republican because they're not bright and they will believe anything.
Yes.
In 2016, that video, because I saw the video, that video has been wiped. You cannot find that video. You cannot find that video anywhere on the internet anymore. If you do, let me know. Prove me wrong.
Actually, I've seen it. I've seen it recently, within the last maybe like 3-4 months. But when I'll snatch it if I find it again.
If you find it, snatch it and please send it to me somewhere so I can download it and keep it on a USB, because these things, you know, it's historical. Not that it's going to change anything at this point.
You know, it's interesting. I follow you, and I totally agree with what you're saying, because we're about to be harboring information, you know, to be able to protect your own lineage, you know, to be able to educate your own. Now, how it will apply in society that does not want to acknowledge it, interesting. But to not know is to be shepherded into the same situation that basically suits the oppressor. You know, it's kind of weird, because I'm thinking now, what will you teach in social studies? You know, if you're not teaching, what will you go back to teaching? Let's just say, you know.
Well, they're gonna twist the truth, and you know they already have that curriculum in Florida.
Yeah, you know something. I have people in Florida. I have a whole family in Florida. I'm gonna ask them what their kids are being taught.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get that firsthand.
Please do, and please bring it back. Please bring it back. I pray I'm wrong. I pray I'm wrong. You know, I understand that they were some parent, and this was maybe last year or a year before, I had heard that a parent was in an outrage because she found in her child's notebook and notes and stuff, and then when she spoke to her child, what she found out is that they taught that Rosa Parks was a woman that sat on the bus because she wanted the right to sit anywhere on the bus. And so she sat where she wanted and got arrested, and then they changed the law. Nowhere was it written that she was a Black woman. Nowhere. The child had no clue that this was about civil rights. So that's the kind of thing. And I used to joke about this, but now I'm scared I might have been right, that in 100 years from now, when you and I are probably gone,
Martin Luther King's gonna be white.
Exactly. You know how I used to say that. He's gonna be a blonde, blue-eyed guy. You know?
And here's the thing: if you're so embarrassed behind your history, then stop doing it.
Stop doing the same thing.
Stop doing it.
If you don't want it taught, if you don't want people to know that you're wicked.
Well, but here's the thing. If you're, and I understand there's a lot to be embarrassed about, right? Like with anything, I understand. But if you are that concerned and that embarrassed, because there is a space in there by you erasing things away that you understand and know full well it wasn't right. But you don't want to be perceived as a certain way. You understand? So you want to erase it all, but you still want to ride up and down Garden State Parkway screaming obscenities
Right.
on a
But
parkway.
but you don't want that taught in school books, in history books.
You know, I mean, there's like I thought about like when I saw that, and this is something I saw. So no one had to tell me. I didn't see a video. I'm watching pickup trucks. I want to say it's like maybe 10 of them speeding in the middle lane. In my rearview mirror, things were looking fidgety, and like folks moving. And I'm looking back, and a car moved out the way, and then okay, the momentum makes you move out the way too. So I switched over to the left lane, and barreling down were a bunch of pickup trucks with Confederate flags honking their horns, crazy looking. And I was like, wow.
Do they even understand that the Confederates lost the Civil War? Like these bunch of losers. Like I don't understand it.
They listen.
I don't understand it, but
Jethro and them wasn't concerned about none of it.
yeah.
They were just, for some reason, they think that, and bowing down. And this is what, and when I saw just the imagery alone, I said, you know what, this deserves an electronic kit. You know what I mean? Just, I think that everybody now should have a dash cam.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Absolutely.
You never know what you're going to encounter, from police to people. Just be ready.
Exactly.
And they're not embarrassed. They don't want to give people of color any airtime whatsoever. Hey, True Soul Power, how are you?
True Soul Power don't have a picture up, but I heard she fine. I just oh my God.
Little birdie told you?
Oh, a singing bird told me.
There we go.
Yup.
Oh, nice. Happy to hear that.
Yep, they're not embarrassed. They just don't want to give people of color any airtime whatsoever. So speaking of that, we, and I'm just gonna do the Black History moment, and it's today in Black History. And I just have to, as often as I can, just remind folks of who we are. Okay, this brother right here, Benjamin Banneker, whether he was a man born before his time or at the right time, one thing is for sure: Benjamin Banneker's genius was ahead of his time. He was an almanac author, inventor, surveyor, naturalist, and farmer. Benjamin Banneker was born as a free person in Baltimore County in Maryland on November 9th, 1731. His creative genius was illustrated by building and engineering the first striking clock in America. And he was only 22 years old when he did it. It worked until his death at age 74. He was a man of many amazing accomplishments, including the construction of an irrigation system on his farm, aiding in the surveying of Washington, D.C. with the use of astronomical calculations. He did a publication of a popular almanac book. Actually, there was more than one that utilized astronomical calculations to help in farming, eclipses, tides, and fishing throughout Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware, and Virginia. His almanac also included medical information, literature, and opinions. Banneker was a spokesperson against slavery and for the foundation of Christianity in American homes. He worked for civil rights and freedom for his fellow African Americans, Afro Americans, if you ask me, bound by slavery, those enslaved. He wrote a letter to Thomas Jefferson when he was Secretary of State, challenging the country's views and laws in regards to Black Americans. Banneker died at age 74 in Baltimore County, Maryland on October 9th, 1806.
Hmm.
And here's what the almanac looked like. If you don't believe me, ask somebody. And that's our Black History moment today in Black history.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, take that with you. Take that with you. It's important not only that we get these kinds of information, but we pass it on to our children.
Right.
Because I don't know whether or not the children are going to get that in school.
No,
I want to say
they want programmable.
Yeah. And it's important that you spend time, especially, when they're little, when they're young, you
Right.
teach them.
Right.
Because they won't have a defense. I want to say hi to Danette Jackson. I see you watching on my Facebook page. Danette, I can't put your comments up. If you want your comments to be seen and read by everybody, you can go to WJBR Internet Radio on YouTube, and there's a whole community of folks right there. Love you to pieces. If you want to be seen, like how I can put Kimberly up here.
Come on down.
Anybody who wants to be seen, and everybody just share this live and subscribe and click the button, the bell. I'm sorry, Rezi.
No, you're good. Actually, I wonder what Jane Elliott is thinking of all of this right now.
I know. She's probably having fits. Like,
Yeah.
how much more can she do, right? She's been doing it forever.
Well, that'll be her legacy of someone that was doing it, someone that was trying to make a difference in the world. And in a lot of cases she did. She made a difference in my world without even knowing it.
Yeah.
So, and for those of you who do not know who Jane Elliott is, she's, first of all, she's your cousin.
Yes.
And second of all, she is the woman that created the blue-eyed, brown-eyed experiment in the 70s. And she has been educating rather, the indoctrination system called education in this country for a very long time. And she's just somebody that's very delightful because she's been speaking the truth for a long time. Thank you, Kimberly. Hit that like button too, folks.
Absolutely. And if you remain on the Facebook page, like that too, just hit the like and share the live. If you're on Instagram, hit the like. So yeah.
Where's Gigi? Is she still around? She in the
I sent Gigi a link. She said she'd be coming on around noon. I know she is doing service in the community this morning, as Gigi does every weekend. I think, where did she say she was today? Oh my God, I know she was watching the show. She was listening for a while. And I'm not exactly sure what time she's coming on, but where did she say she was? I don't remember. But she's absolutely coming through today. And she also did comment that working for UPS, she can speak to how this affects the consumer.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. We shall see. I mean, I don't even know what sometimes I get this weird curiosity. So I'll go to YouTube University in spaces, watch videos where people can't say they didn't say things. But I watched that whole McDonald's thing.
With him
That
working at McDonald's, sort of,
yeah.
where somebody had to put an apron on him.
Well, yeah, yeah, no, I mean, that wasn't the biggest piece. The biggest piece to me was how you did that to spite someone else, allegedly, and your interpretation of what was being said to you when you went to validate whether or not she actually worked there, because the company clearly told you in writing that their records didn't go back but so far.
Right. Here's the interesting thing about that, Terez. Everybody was concerned with whether or not she actually worked at McDonald's, but when you go for a job, you put the qualifications that are relevant to the job you are seeking. So you forget about the fact that she was attorney general. You forget about the fact that she was a senator. You forget about the fact that she's the vice president when you're talking about her qualifications. Yeah, but she didn't really work at McDonald's.
She's logging.
Oh, wait a minute. Why is it so important?
It's not.
I never understood that. Like
he just wanted to work there.
But if you brag about anything, working at Mickey D's, I don't know, would be your bragging point.
He just wanted to have a reason. His little researchers just wanted to have a reason. That's all.
I have a cousin that's a manager who's been working as manager at McDonald's many years in Ohio. Shout out. Love you. But I'm just saying, if working at McDonald's is not what you want to do and you want to run the country, you need to talk about other things that you've run other than, the fries.
Other than your mouth. How about that?
Yeah. Kimberly says, I worked at the Gap when I was in high school. I seriously doubt anyone gives a damn about that now. I feel the same way. Yeah, I worked at the Bronx Zoo. Riding the monorail, driving the monorail, and giving a tour.
I worked at Roy Rogers.
I worked at A&P Supermarket. I worked a lot of places. Let's all talk about how the trans and binary folks like me are so afraid now. We are the number one scapegoats now. Yeah, Chris.
Firstly, 45 would not qualify to work at McDonald's, as he would not pass the criminal.
I the whole thing. Damn it.
Gigi, we can hear what you're saying.
Oh, sorry.
Chris, that was hilarious. And you're so right.
Yeah. So, I do want to address this issue. And hi, Gigi, welcome to the show.
Hi.
I do want to just say I'm afraid for my trans brothers and sisters as well. Nobody can predict just how it's going to affect the community.
Nope.
And we have to band together and fight for our collective rights. I was just looking at my because now is the turnover period if you want to get a different health care in my agency and everything. So I was looking through it and I saw where it said the plan that I'm currently on, insulin is capped at $35. And I was like, oh, cool. I'm thank God I don't have to take insulin. but it's good to know. And then it dawned on me that this was a part of what Biden did. He promised it and he did it. And also, it's something that Kamala was promising to expand in terms of affordable health care. When you can see what people have done, that their promises have been kept, i.e., my student loans gone. I thought I was going to be paying student loans into retirement. I really did, because I went to school late. You know, and the interest was crazy. Okay. Not that I wasn't paying it back. Yeah, I was paying it back. I was paying back interest. You know? So, you know, when you could see promises being kept and people not appreciating that. And then when people's argument for going the way they did is that they don't expect the promises to be kept. Like,
Animal flea.
You got to be a certain age to understand what that.
To understand what that means.
Yeah.
to know that song.
And you know what? I think that's going to be our cue for when we want to speak about that. And because we're not mentioning that name anymore, and I did today by accident. But we going. So how you doing today, Gigi?
I'm doing better than Tuesday, better than yesterday.
Good.
It would felt good to do a community service at the Ronald McDonald House this morning. That's where I know every Saturday but I jump on.
Absolutely.
I'm dedicated even more now than even before, because this is still a fight. We still have a long way to go. But I'm sad. I'm disappointed. I'm angry. A lot of emotions I've been trying to, make sense of. Because of so many things that I've seen that I know is still to come. Reading this book, now I feel like I have to really delve into it, because I felt like it was such a short period of time for me to go through the chapters, to pull things out, to discuss, to try to get some of the narrative out there to the people when it came to voting. So now that we're past that, now it's about literally taking the time to go through each chapter and getting the information out to people to be prepared for what is to come. Because they can say what they want, but I was just looking at Rolling Stone. If you could pull it up, because I'm sorry, I'm not at home, so I don't have multiple, things, but it was something on the main page that spoke to Republicans admitting to Project 2025. Yeah. I mean, well, I guess they can do that now. They already have what they wanted. Yeah.
And as you said, you JD. I was going to say something sarcastic. So again, my brain is still racing faster than I can speak. But he wrote the foreword.
He wrote the foreword. Yeah.
So I mean, and he's groomed into that particular set of policies, or whatever they want to governance. It's always and changing the name of it is not going to make a difference. Whether it's it doesn't matter. Like. It's not going to confuse people, because if you read it, that's what it is.
That's what it is. It's truly sad. I got, 2 weeks ago, our CEO of the company I work for, he did a video he sent out with the changes for Medicare. And I was reading through it, and I was like, wow. So they're getting ready to cap, and I think I might have spoke about this before. Right now, seniors pay, of course, the $35 for insulin, but for their out-of-pockets, when it comes to their Part D medications that are not covered through the Medicare piece, those things can be very costly. I mean, the drugs that we supply for home infusion There are some drugs that literally reimburse at double digits in the thousands. Okay. So they will be out, a percentage of that is their 20%. If they don't have a full secondary, that will cover it. Well, they have to normally pay this up in advance, which is a lot of money, right? For a senior to have to pull out of their pocket, or from family members to provide and help. Well, the changes that the Biden administration had done was to make it so the max out of pocket moving forward for anything that has to do with senior is $2,000 max. And they can be put on a payment plan, which was not something that they were able to do before. So these are things, and they still spoke about they're still making more changes to help to bring down that out-of-pocket cost. They could care less about Medicare. They could care less about payment plans, right? We're talking about billionaires, oligarchs that have money and they can trade off this and that to get what they want for their family members, for their relatives that are over age. They don't care about you and me, and it's really a shame that Americans believe the nonsense that was spewed to them all of these months.
Yeah. So, Gigi, did you read? Okay, do you have your headphones? You have your headphones on? Okay, because I hear a little back something. But I'm trying to figure out now where the noise is coming from. But anyway, do you know about the part regarding trans care? Did you read anything about that?
No, okay. I didn't get to that yet, but I'll look it up.
Okay, so Chris, stay tuned, because Gigi is our resident Project 2025 professional, I guess.
I'm trying.
She's keeping us up to date. So we also spoke about WIC and care for babies, and what if anything. Let's just start from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
What is the first thing that you have found? Can we take it chapter by chapter? Does that make it easier for you? Or okay, so let's go to chapter 1. Let's start from the door.
Let me see.
What are they talking about at the door? And then we can chapter 1 this week, and next week do more. Move on.
All right. So to start this off, so it's interesting that you said that, because that's actually what I brought with me, because I thought it important for us to start at the beginning. Book. It goes over the advisory board. So my goal between now is to go through the advisory board, because they're supposed to start posting who's going to be in his cabinet. Now, the name of the person, that woman that he had, her name seemed familiar to me when I was reading through some of these things, but I'm definitely going to try to put the names of what's going to be on his cabinet versus what I see in Project 2025, and be able to tell us based on their resumes that's in here. It's like a short synopsis of each of their specialties, which most of them do not fit at all to what positions he's going to be put in. I mean, think about RFK. Health and Human Services. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Right? You're talking about a man who doesn't believe in anything. He got worms in his head, and you want him to be over Health and Human Services? I'm just floored right now by the craziness that is coming from this. I don't know even what to call them, because what cabinet Republicans, I don't even want to call them Republicans, because when I think of Republicans, I do not think of any of these people. I don't. None of them. The Republicans I remember back in the day were America First. True America First.
Yeah, like
what they
Reagan.
said.
and those guys.
Right? True America first. These people, this MAGA movement, this cult, that's all they are. They are oligarchs that want to control and have power. That is their ultimate goal. They just want power. And what really bothered me is seeing Elon Musk out there in the forefront. Like, he is like all up in it, and he's somebody that's done nothing in politics, like most of them, but to this magnitude, for him to have his face out there, even in some instances above DJT, it's like, what?
And he's not even American.
Right. Exactly. He's African apartheid moving man who cares nothing about people. That should tell you enough.
It's all about the Benjamins.
That's
but is he mentioned in that list of people?
No, he is not.
Okay.
No, he's not. He's not getting involved in that. He is in it for the dollar.
That's it. That's all.
This is the corporation, and he, wants to get as much as he can out of it. So
but how about when when the race was on, he was doing $1 million sweepstakes for votes.
Yeah.
And that went to court, and the judge said it was not illegal to do that. You know how many betting apps they made off this particular election? Like, what have we become?
Lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
So, Gigi, what is the first chapter about?
All right. So I'm going to start from the forward, because the forward to me gives you a good synopsis of what the book breaks down, right? So in the forward, their thing is, it's a promise to America. And they said that in the 1970s were many measures a historic low point for America. Just like you've heard DJT talk about bringing us down, talking bad about America. We're this, we're that. That is pretty much the first page. Yeah, the first page of their forward is, we are horrible, terrible America. And all I keep, when I read that and hear that, and then, why are you here? Why don't you go away? Just you and all of your cronies. Why don't y'all just go find somewhere else to go, since you think this place is so bad? So they said, today America and its conservative movement are enduring an era of division and danger akin to the 1970s. This is paragraph 2. Paragraph 2. Inflation is ravaging family budgets. Drug overdose deaths continue to escalate, and children suffer the toxic normalization of transgenderism, with drag queens and pornography invading their school libraries. That's all in paragraph 2. I mean, look, that alone just tell you how much further this. All I literally brought with me was the forward today, because I thought it was important to just understand what their mindset was when they decided to write all of the rest of those chapters. This is 922 pages of this garbage. Overseas, a totalitarian communist dictatorship in Beijing is engaged in a strategic, cultural, and economic Cold War against America's interests, values, and people, all while globalist elites in Washington awaken only slowly to that growing threat. Terez, I know you want to laugh. She's like, I just can't believe it. It's crazy. And so, as we talk about the cult being DJT and his cronies, right? They say that the cult today is known as you ready for this? The Great Awakening. I am not joking, y'all. I am not joking. They literally put that in parentheses. The Great Awakening is the cult of America now.
So this comes from the expression "be woke," which means essentially, for anybody that how it's been traditionally used and where it was created was about knowing the truth.
Knowing the
truth. So they flipped the script and saying the truth, and understand they are studying us.
Yes.
Okay? Because they got to keep their eye on people and folks they want to marginalize. So they're studying. So, they're saying it's called woke, knowing the truth. Okay, so you know what? Now woke or awakening.
Awakening.
They have
You can't make this up. This is mental health at its finest.
they've
Is.
they've
If it
taken
wasn't so scary, this would make a great play.
exactly. They've taken a positive and turned it into a negative.
Yes.
They, something to say, that you're woke. It just means that you're aware. You're politically
Aware.
and civically and socially aware. That's all it means.
Us being aware doesn't serve them, though. Us
Right.
being aware does not serve them.
And so they have really made it really something negative. And when you ask one of them, just the citizen, them, what do you mean by woke?
They don't know.
Anti-white. No.
They have no answer.
But that's not what woke means. It doesn't mean that necessarily, unless somebody that we need to be woke about.
Right.
So yeah. But go ahead.
Spike Lee was the one that told us to wake up a long time ago. That's what it meant. Wake up.
But even before Spike Lee, back in the 30s, in the 30s, there was a blues singer. I can't remember who it was necessarily right now, but in one of his songs, it was he said, "And y'all stay woke now."
Oh, yes, I remember that. Yes.
That's where it came from, like back in the 1930s. This is not new. Stay woke is reminding Black people to stay aware of your surroundings, of who's coming down the yard, or who's coming down the road, what the politics are saying, what the law is saying, who got lynched, who's coming to lynch you. What you can and cannot do, who around you, who's watching this show right now, who's taking notes and running back to tell them. You understand?
Yeah.
And today's translation of woke would be, for the kids, would be keep your head on swivel.
Keep your head on swivel. Yes, right. All right, Terez, come on now.
Terez is so young. She's
I know, right?
I talk to a lot, like that's my life. I talk to a lot of young folk on a regular basis.
And I'm so glad that you do. I'm so glad that you do. I'm busy sitting here rocking back and forth, turning 60. Like I'm gonna be 100.
JaVonne.
I'm like
60 years young, baby. 60 years young.
My head is anyway, I don't even want to go there. But go ahead, Gigi. What else is in this forward? This is just the forward. We ain't even get to the meat and potatoes. What's in the forward?
Page 2 on the forward. We brought together hundreds of conservative scholars and academics across the conservative movement. Together, this team created a 20-volume, 3,000-page governing handbook containing more than 2,000 conservative policies to reform the federal government and rescue the American people from Washington dysfunction. It was a promise from the conservative movement to the country, confident, specific, and clear. The Mandate of Leadership was published in January 1981, the same month Ronald Reagan was sworn into presidency.
They've been studying on this a long time.
Long time.
Keep going, G.
Conservatives should be confident that we can rescue our kids, reclaim our culture, revive our economy, and defeat the anti-American left at home and abroad. We did it before, and we will do it again. As Ronald Reagan put it, freedom is a fragile thing, and it's never more than one generation away from extinction. It is not ours by way of inheritance. It must be fought for and defended constantly by each generation. Interesting that is something that he quoted, but he had a whole different meaning behind it, obviously, between him and the conservative movement.
Hello. And that's stolen anyway, I believe. It's stolen from us anyway, because you never had to worry about your freedom, because you were the anointers and granters of such.
Right.
And if you think about it, during Reagan's administration, when they were talking about defending freedom, they were talking about defending freedom against communism. They were talking about defending democracy, because at that time, Russia was a serious threat to the United States.
And now they're friends. Now they're friends.
But what happened was, militarily, Reagan, remember that whole Star Wars thing where Reagan took all the money out of social programs and put it into the military and built what ended up being, to his credit, I guess, the strongest military in the world, the United States military at that time. I can't speak for now, but at that time. And when he said, Gorbachev, tear that wall down, I remember that, all of that stuff going on. Because I'm old.
You're 60.
That's
why we need you there.
Because I'm almost 60. I got 2 weeks to go. I'm holding on to 59 like baby, please.
No.
Well,
because a 20-year-old don't have this information.
That's right.
You're talking from being that. Carry on.
Yeah, I remember that. So from that time forward, after and we actually, America became the biggest world power. And the alliances America has with NATO, within NATO, and there are other countries begging to get into NATO, like Ukraine. Okay? And so, because we are the world alliance, we are the big world alliance that protects democracy. Here's the thing, and I'll repeat it as often as I have to. 9/11, right? And look, Terez hinted at it last week when she said that we trained Osama bin Laden. I would strongly suggest, and not only when I talked about getting books, get film also. Because there's going to be videos, documentaries, and things that are not available. Watch Fahrenheit 9/11.
I watched it a long time ago.
If you have not watched that, watch Fahrenheit 9/11. Okay? But anyway, when Bush couldn't seem to find Osama bin Laden, who allegedly was behind
with his dialysis machine.
Right.
With sandals and I remember, I think it was Eddie Murphy made a joke. You can't find a guy in the desert wearing sandals, running with a dialysis machine. But Ukraine, when Obama got in, Ukraine was the country that allowed us to build a base and a fort there, which helped us to find bin Laden and to essentially take him out.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was, somebody hit us on our soil, right? In my hometown. That shit pisses me off to this day. But
I know.
I'm a New Yorker. I don't care where I live now. I will always be a New Yorker. But that
always a New Yorker.
Man, somebody striking in your home, that hits different. Okay.
I'm also mad at the fact that they were able to do it, because you could throw a rock, but if you're defensible, right? Like, we got stuff allegedly on the top of the Pentagon, right? They didn't see that coming.
Right.
They didn't see any of that coming.
Right.
They're in our airspace.
Right.
Flying low.
Right. Right. So that's the thing. But all
right, United States. That's your story. Stick to it.
Yeah. So now there's a risk, and the thought is, and I pray that this doesn't happen, is that we're no longer going to be allied with our allies.
Right.
Those people that we fought wars with, like all our quote unquote friends and allies, all the countries that we've had their back, they've had our back. We are now going to the other side so that we can have a king.
Well, the pieces I think there needs to be some bat calls going off
Yeah.
to your peoples, because you like it needs to really just get to like I could do this if I were doing a Saturday Night Live skit, right? But like I think it was Kimberly that said this would be straight comedy if the consequences weren't so dire.
That's right.
I happen to agree with that, right?
If we give Putin, not we, but if the United States gives Putin reign and stops giving aid to Ukraine, there's a reason why we give aid to our allies. It's to protect democracy. It's so that communism does not spread. That's why they've been giving this money. It's not really even giving money to Ukraine. We're giving used or old, outdated machinery that we have just stored and stocked.
Yeah.
To them, and we are making money by building more for ourselves, building better things for ourselves. We're just giving the overflow.
As much as you say that, when I was listening to people on TikTok, they keep saying we done gave them all this money.
We haven't
helping them. We haven't give them cash, but you can't convince these people of the truth. You just cannot. Their ears are closed and their eyes are blind. They cannot see nor hear.
When we cut them off, Russia takes over Ukraine and starts to
grow. It's gonna grow. That's it.
And if you think, oh boy, ain't gonna flip, this guy who thinks he's, like I feel like I got talking code right now, because it's almost like, and thinking I want to reduce it again for the folks that I know maybe watching, that my 12 through whatever demographic, it's like you have your homies on the playground, right? And you got the big homie, Russia, who doesn't like all of your little homies. And he's waiting for someone in the US like Glowworm to get involved so that they could be pals, right? They're pals already. He's just waiting. But that doesn't mean that you and your homies, even though he dismantles y'all, that your loyalty went anywhere, right? So I suggest that you and all your homies find another way to communicate, find another way to get things done, so that you can stay there, because they think just because they say it, it is. But the reality is, people can say things and think something different. And if you and your homies stand strong and you got people in the back doors getting information and being able to move accordingly, like that's what it is. You got to go on what they call covert operations, because if not, you're not going to survive. He already wants to dismantle NATO. And NATO is the Justice League of alliances, right? That keep us all in this particular state. He doesn't like it, So if he does do that, you got to have a plan B.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is the thing also, we're going to be infiltrated with a lot of disinformation.
I'm sick of it.
You're not going to be able to rely on anything as being the truth. The shows that you are accustomed to watching for news, for world news, even they're
going to get rid of it.
Yeah, even news that we don't control here, we're not going to have access to, and our internet again will be flushed. Just don't forget what you already know.
You're so right, JaVonne. You need to speak to that a lot. People need to understand that for them to continue with the misinformation, disinformation, is for them to block and censor. As much as they kept pushing, First Amendment first, they don't want that. They want the only thing that you hear and you see are things that they say and want you to read. That's it. So it is going to be important. I know that someone else told me, and I think I mentioned it to you, JaVonne, about getting a VPN so that you're able to block where you come. It's going to be that serious. And we need to continue to push to people the importance of keeping your household safe inside, meaning as well as your internet and things that you are pulling in and reading and researching, because when they're going to keep trying to monitor, they need to, so that they know who and who is not on their side.
Echo,
and if you and
Alexa.
Gigi, you hit the nail on the head. And if you I'll add something to that, if you are in public and using Wi-Fi, get
Yes.
yourself a VPN. Get that VPN because they are mirroring phones like crazy right now. Please get your VPNs and accept. And what a VPN is a virtual network, virtual protection network that protects your information when you're out surfing on public things, so that nobody gets a hold of it. And when they mirror things, they can mirror it like maybe 29 times. So that means anytime you go on your phone, like for the folks that like to sit in Starbucks and do work on your laptops and things like that, please know that anything that you're typing in there, if you jump on one of these in airports, if you jump on the Wi-Fi anywhere, please get yourself a VPN. A lot of your iPhones already have them built in. You just have to activate it, and a lot of your service providers, AT&T, they have them. And then you can get one through an app, too. There was one I used like when I would do cryptocurrency called ExpressVPN. Now it may be a little bit more, but it protects your identity as you're moving through and surfing the web. It protects your ISP, which is an internet service provider, so that people cannot track your comings and goings, and you cannot track your stuff.
And with that all in mind, the way that we speak on this show may change to some degree. Okay, so it's important for those of you who are friends of the show to pay close attention to our cues and understand what we're saying. And if you have questions, y'all know how to reach us in other social media in private messages. And I'm always looking to see who's listening to the show, who's watching the show. All right. So if you're unfamiliar to me, I'm not going to say nothing to you. So if you're one of those cats that like to sit back and watch the show and you don't like to give comments and stuff like that, then, you just, when I say, yeah, Rez, because loopy loopy, me and Rez and those of you who might have inboxed me might know what loopy loopy is. Those of you who didn't probably won't.
And JaVonne, please understand, you hit the head again, because there are a lot of people that watch. A lot of people that watch. I get comments. I'm like, oh, you did? Oh, I do this all the time. And I don't see the names scrolling up, but they're paying attention. Folks are paying attention.
Exactly. So
they need to.
Kimberly, hit us up if you ever hear something. If you ever see something that you don't quite understand what the hell we talking about, just hit us up. Hit us up privately. We know your name. We see you. You're one of us.
So, let me read this last little sentences here on this page 3. This is an agenda prepared by and for conservatives who will be ready on day one. I need to say that to you. This is an agenda prepared by and for conservatives who will be ready on day one. Now, I think we all thought day one would be the day of the inauguration. And no, day one began on Tuesday.
Yep.
Day one began on Tuesday. They're already in it. They're already prepping. They're putting people in place.
They already have those videos out for when they fire all of the federal government employees.
Yes.
I've seen the videos. They already have the videos out that are like the recruitment videos and the videos for those people who pledge their loyalty and that will be hired.
Yeah.
They already have your welcome to the New World Order videos out.
Oh my God. Every time I hear them words, I've known those words for so long. Oh my goodness gracious.
Well, we've been hearing that for a long time in the streets, right?
Long time. Yes, long time.
And it's here.
This book is the work of the entire conservative movement, especially along 4 broad fronts that will decide America's future. They have 4 of them. 1 is to restore the family as the centerpiece of American life and protect our children. 2 is dismantle the administrative state and return self-governance to the American people. So I want to stop there for a second. We know that is BS, right? That American people, who? Because American people, the ones that truly love America and our family and our friends, don't want what they have coming. I don't want what I'm reading. So you're not talking about me. Defend our nation's sovereignty, borders, and bounty against global threats. And number 4, secure our God-given individual rights to live freely, with our Constitution calls the blessings of liberty. Now, again, the blessings of liberty. When I read that, it reminded me so much of a piece of something that I watched when I was watching The Handmaid's Tale. Remember how there was the certain word thing that they said on a consistent basis? That's what I see when I read the blessings of liberty.
I have to admit that I have not watched The Handmaid's Tale.
I can't, and I'll say this, I can't get through it because I get so angry.
It's hard. It is.
I cannot get through it.
It's hard watching, Terez. It is. I watched it when it first started, and it's very hard. It's scary because, truth be told, it is the movement of what they are fighting for. It is exactly what they want. They want a world where women have no voice, no say in their body, no say in anything. They are to be controlled and led by men. And that's exactly the cabinet that he is building and the world that they want.
Straight to hell. That upsets stabilities. That just, I'm part of this adult group that we get together Wednesdays and, in our little covert spaces and just love on each other and talk about things. And that was actually my assignment when they found out I didn't watch the movie, the series. I said, it wasn't that I did not. It's almost like I could not, because it just upsets the sensibilities of women, or I'll keep it on me, a same gender loving woman. Because do you understand how that impacts, conceptually who I am, not what I do, because, I always have to get on people about when you say same gender loving, you go to it, just like a lot of Christians do. They go to your bedroom. I don't want the
right.
Y'all get the fuck out my bedroom.
Get out my room.
I didn't even tell you whether or not I was even having sex, but you seem to be so wrapped up in what I do in the bedroom. It's who I am. It's not what I do. So at the end of the day, men don't govern my existence. But you're telling me, in order to be an American, a man needs to govern my existence to be worthy of the American way. Yes. And anything else is blasphemous or sinful or whatever you want to classify. It's not the traditional family. But listen, last time I checked, or at least I heard, Caligula was where? How far back did that go? What was folks doing way back?
Yeah, that was Roman.
Everything. Roman Day, yeah, everything.
So, that's why it's good to be 60, JaVonne, because you can think about some things that existed way before some other stuff that y'all trying to create right now. And still doing, And in Florida allegedly has the biggest family member governor. And you trying it. You really trying it. Like we not doing McGreevy in Florida, making up rules that you can't say gay. And, DeSantis, you sit down there the way you do, allegedly.
Yeah. I saw also a very disturbing video today on Instagram about Letitia James.
What was it?
So she came out and said that she said, I don't want you worrying. We're going to continue to fight. We're going to protect your rights. We've protected rights for LGBTQ. We've protected women's rights. We've protected the during the last administration. We're going to continue to do what we did. She put out an AG video, and I don't recall who it was. I'm gonna look and then I'll send it to those who want it. But this person, this man, was really bold in saying, you do that, you try to come for this guy, our guy, and we will put your black fat ass in jail. It was horrible.
That broke my entire heart.
You saw
but you know something? Tish James ain't no punk either. Okay? What you see before, I remember Tish James when she's a council person over in BK, because that's where I'm from. She ain't no punk. Okay? And if she's going to stop anything, it's because the mass majority of where she's sitting wants her to stop. But on her own, you got the right one. Play yourself. If you think she's standing up there by herself, play yourself. And see, the thing is, like, you can have your opinions, but you don't have to go there with it. Calling her all those names publicly don't make you look strong. It makes you look like a scared. And I pray this video goes exactly where it needs to. Makes you look like a scared little white boy, basically.
But here's the thing. You said it early on, Terez. When people say things, it says more about who you are than about who they are.
And he's scared. I tell you, who are you, Huff and Puff? Like, what? Come, I saw that video. I was like, are you really talking to? And see, this is, again, we needed to see certain things because some of us don't believe that folks like this exist in our orbits or would have the audacity. And those private kitchen backdoor conversations are very public. They don't care about the rhetoric they spew and how many families are affected by it. They don't care.
No,
like
they
you
don't.
You actually say that about a sitting AG?
Yeah, and they mean it. That's the part. They mean exactly what they're saying, and it's going to continue to get worse. I mean, look, it's Tuesday, so Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Only within 3 days, we've already seen things come across the internet saying that we all should be in fields. We've already seen, someone in my group, my Diamond Diva group, a neighbor of hers, on her white fence was written, I hate ends. Day 3.
Where does she live? What town?
Lawnside, New Jersey. It's real.
Yeah, see.
3 days in.
Yeah, see.
It's emboldened them. And if you think they were emboldened before, from 2016, now, with them having everything, and him saying that you will never have to vote again. Don't worry. I got y'all from now on. Oh, they already know.
See, you could be excited for whoever, like the peaceful transfer of power, it is. But if that means if you think you have the license to act a fool.
But here's the thing. They're showing that they can't even be peaceful when they win.
No, they can't. They can't.
Clowns.
You can't. Angry and hurt and poor and little and small and wicked and evil and mean and nasty and unhappy. You that unhappy? Because happy people don't go around doing evil things. Happy people have joy and celebrate.
Not when all of your being is just hate.
Yeah.
It seems like the country went quiet, really. It doesn't seem like a joyful time. Not just in our circles.
No.
But guess who's not ranting and raving about anything? I haven't seen them. Really?
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything.
Well, I like again, that's a great point, JaVonne, that you just made, because usually if you win, you don't have to do negative stuff if you're winning, right? You don't have to tell somebody, and today, and I do have my belief about the use of the word, the N word, right?
Mm-hmm.
I believe that yes, there has been a tremendous amount of bloodshed, but I'm never going to give somebody else the power to make me feel a way, today, a way about using it. And part of me is even happy that our kids have desensitized it, and it doesn't mean what it was intended to mean in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what they know about, because everybody is my this, my that. You know what I mean? And it has nothing to do with color, race, or any of that. Um, particularly if you're using it as a term of endearment,
Right.
you know, but and that's not going to move me. But if you spray paint something on anything that I own, just make sure that I'm using your ass to wipe it off. For sure. For sure. You are my rag. That's the honest question. Like, just be civil. That's all. We're just asking for civility.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Since when do happy people? Why are happy people still so angry? Why are you
Right.
so mad? You
Why?
you have to then take a look at yourself and say, actually,
It's not enough.
it was
Greed is
No.
insatiable.
it
It's
was my
insatiable.
mother who did it, because it had to have been whoever raised you didn't put joy in
Who
your
raised
heart.
you? Right? Who raised you?
There's no joy in your heart.
No.
Remember, look, this joy, the world didn't give it. The world can't take it away. Why are you so angry? You don't have this joy?
Right.
So they
You
never
don't
had
have
it. They
what?
never had it.
But where does it really come from? Just for a second, because next week, y'all, we're gonna have Kevin E. Taylor.
Woo, Bishop.
Yeah, come on up in here and give us a word, right? But not for nothing, God, Jesus, and for those of you who are not believers, fine. There's something that you're born with. It's spirit, it's energy, whatever you want to call it.
Higher power.
Whatever it is. It's
Mm-hmm.
in you. It's not outside of you. It's in you, and it can be joyful. It can be wonderful, regardless of what's going on out there. It's inside of you, and you feel that thing, and it bubbles up. If you look at a child who is not being abused or neglected, they are full of it. Joy. They're jumping around. They're enjoying. You could give them a stick. I'm talking about a stick from the street, and they will play with that stick, and that stick will become a wand. That stick will become that stick. Anything their joyful little hearts can imagine, that stick will become. They have this joy that was not given to them. They were born with it. It was not given to them by the world. They were born with it. You still have this joy. Don't let the world steal it. Don't let the world take it away.
Joy, 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 joy to the world. Yes. And see, that's part of what they're mad to, that they can't steal. It's like, how are they existing? How? We've done everything in our power. How do these people still exist? You're mad, Twan. Get over it. We're indestructible. We'll figure this out like we always do. Because regardless, we're going to make you coexist. Red and yellow, black and white. We are precious in his sight. All of us.
Exactly.
After leaving the Ronald McDonald House, there was a baby there, and he has Downs, and just listening to what you just said, JaVonne, and his mother was holding him. He's had so many surgeries, and yet, while we were all there, dressed with our little caps on and stuff, and he took my finger, And I said to him, nose, and he took my finger and put it on my nose. He doesn't speak, but he understood. You understand? That's that joy you were talking about, right?
Yes.
I felt it just in having that interaction with him.
Yep. Yep.
You know, so these are the moments that we gotta hold on to. Just something that small, seeing a smile on a baby's face, and we can't even understand what he's going through. Him being somebody so small and had already at least 7 surgeries and more to go, but he's still joyful.
Because the
Still.
world didn't give it and the world can't take it away.
Nope.
You know, yeah. So with that being said, because our time is winding down, I just want to remind everybody of the joy inside of your heart, that nobody can steal your joy. You can be upset, you can be disenchanted, you can be disappointed, and then you need to regroup. Okay?
Time to get to work.
Yes.
Time to get there. You got joy down in your heart. And you know, one of the things I used to do that I don't do anymore, but I need to start doing again, is I haven't been playing with my music stuff and DJing and all that stuff. And I don't intend to do it necessarily on this show, but I
Yes,
will
you do.
this hour huh?
Yes, you do.
Yes, you do.
Okay. But I think I'm gonna start that Sunday evening shout again and just playing gospel music and
Yes.
speaking a little bit of the word as I look, y'all listening to the word as JaVonne sees it. That's it cracks me up that y'all would actually listen. Because JaVonne,
She said as JaVonne sees it.
I strongly suggest that before and after you listen to me, you go to church somewhere at least once to get the real, get the other. I'm not gonna say real, but get the other version. You know, because my version is just how JaVonne sees it, and my opinion is that every church is just as the pastor and the congregation sees it. Everybody sees things differently. So if you want to chime, because all I'm gonna be doing is playing gospel music. Oh, that's right. You know, and that's it. And it's so funny because a lot of it is new to me because I ain't never listened to it as a kid. Because guess what? My mother didn't make me. I remember going to my mother and saying, "Mommy, is there a God?" She said, "Well, there's something out there. You could go find it." I said, "Okay." So there was a lady up the block. She, you know, a Latina lady named Mary, and she used to strum a guitar. Where have all the flowers gone? And I said, "Oh, Mary." And she said one day she was going to take all the kids, all the children in the neighborhood, to Sunday school. So I asked my mother, and my mother's like, "Ooh, you gonna be going for a couple of hours on a Sunday afternoon? Yes, you can go. Please do go." With Mary up the block, Flower Child.
We're married.
Absolutely, go with Flower Child Mary up the block. And so I went, and then I went to Sunday school, you know, and then we went to church on Easter and Mother's Day. Praise God. And then
Praise God.
on Palm Sunday, I went to Catholic church, and when I went up to get, you know, what do they call it, Gigi? Communion?
Communion. Yes.
You're supposed to say something. And I was like, "Thanks for the bread, thanks for the wine." And I remember the priest looking at me like he was shocked. I was like, "Thanks." You know, I was hungry.
I was hungry.
I was hoping for a bigger cracker than this, but you know, I'll take what I could get. Praise God.
Oh, goodness.
He said, "You say," and then he told me whatever I was supposed to say. I was like, "Okay," you know, and I said it. And I was like, "I ain't coming back here no more."
Y'all cheat with the crackers.
And this all y'all get?
Wow. Did he actually yell like that?
Yeah, his face turned red. That tells you something. And then he told me what to say, and I said, "Okay." And I said, "You know, okay." And I went to I said, "Can I have another cracker?" I was hungry. But it was a quick service, unlike that of the Reverend Bishop Pastor Kevin E. Taylor. He could tell you something, but his words are quite enjoyable and very entertaining. So,
Oh man, is one of my favorite orators. Yes, he is.
he's the man. So anyway, long story short, I tried to study with the Jehovah's Witnesses for a minute and found out that their Bible was different than the Holy Bible. They just changed the words around. I'm like, can you do that? Is that legal?
Well,
you can ask DJT because they had a whole nother Bible now, right?
Yeah, right. They got the Constitution in the Bible,
the Bill of Rights in the Bible,
except for the amendments that set us free. Right. Okay, and all of that except for the amendments are in the new Bible, new Bible. So I guess it's legal to change the Bible. There's no law against it except for the commandments, I guess. And then
who wrote it?
Some men. So yeah,
some
then
people's...
I found that the Jehovah's Witnesses wasn't for me. I was like, look, if I need a blood transfusion, I'm taking a blood transfusion. And guess what? I'm going to vote. Okay. So because the streets, I want them paved. So I'm going to vote for the people I think are going to pave the streets. Thank you very much. I'm sorry. It does affect me. Man's laws do affect me. And if you don't know, you're going to find out in 2025, right? Yep. So that's just my opinion. I'm not hating on nobody. I love everybody. And so I became a Buddhist. But I'm gonna tell you, that was in the 90s, or no, the 80s, the late 80s, because I had experimented with some other things to free my mind at that time. It was in the 90s. I was free my mind. I was young. The 1990s.
The 1990s. Okay. You know what, JaVonne?
But see, also what I found out is that you can't see a true reflection of yourself in the Gohonzon of the Buddhists while you're experimenting with other things that free your mind.
Okay.
They have this wonderful temple. If you're into, Buddhism and you want to check it out, there's this temple. I don't remember where it was because, like I said, I was, free in my mind. And they have a big, giant golden Gohonzon. It was amazing. Gohonzon is the thing that you chant to. You fuse with the Gohonzon. You don't pray to it. You fuse with it. And you can free your mind. But you shouldn't have outside additives inside fuse
at the same time.
Yeah, you shouldn't do that.
You shouldn't have that at any of them, actually.
What happened was the Gohonzon came alive in my okay. That thing, I'm saying nam yo rengekyo, nam yo.
Oh my goodness.
Rengekyo. Which, let me just tell you, out of everything that I've ever done in my life, that was probably one of the most freeing experiences, and I got it. The laws of cause and effect. See, my belief now, and I'm just going to really, really, really give it to you. My belief is that there is a God, and that one God set up things in the universe, laws that are true. There is the law of gravity on this earth. You can't deny it, baby. There is the law of cause and effect. There is the law of gender, male and female. And it doesn't mean that you are there's just man and there's just woman. It's
we've already determined that there are other species. We've already determined.
It's a fluid law. And anywhere within that spectrum, you can be there. There were 7 great laws of the universe. I don't remember all of them because, like I said, my mind has been expanded and now it's old. So, I could use some of them built up brain cells back, but some of them never rejuvenated. And the ones that were left, they're getting old and tired of all this thinking I've been doing, right?
Oh my goodness.
Worrying and fretting and thinking and praying and hoping and whatever, right? So anyway, I believe that God set those laws up and karma is real.
Mm-hmm.
And don't matter what you call God, we all got different names. The bottom line is you believe in a power greater than yourself.
I believe in
That's it.
myself. I love Jesus and the idea of Jesus because now I'm getting religious. I'm gonna get religified on you. But see, and this is for the people that watch Sunday Evening Shout. Y'all know this about me, right? I will start just rambling. I'll be playing music and I'll be like, you know what? That reminds me of a story in the Bible. See, Jesus was chilling one day. He was just chilling, writing in the sand, minding his business, thinking, philosophizing about things within himself. Then all of a sudden, the people in the town come running. Jesus, you the man, right? You the son of God, right? You all fair, right? You all good, right? You won't prosecute nobody, right? But you believe in the law of God, right? Well, here's this hoe right here we found married right in the middle of committing adultery. What you gonna do, Jesus? What you gonna do? Jesus like, these dumb motherfuckers. He looks up, looks at the crowd, looks at the woman.
Jesus was gangster.
Jesus said, you know what I'm saying? That's why I love Jesus. Don't tell me I don't love Jesus, okay? Jesus looked up
turning
and said,
over tables and stuff.
You know what I'm saying?
What the heck going on
Right?
here?
Jesus said, okay, let you who go without sin, you motherfuckers who ain't never done nothing wrong, go to cast the first stone. Let the one of you who ain't never did nothing wrong, you cast the first stone. And then what did he do? He went back to writing in the sand, like, you dumb motherfucker. He started playing back in the sand. And one by one, they looked at each other. And he was like, well, there was that one time. Yeah, I am kind of gluttonous. Yeah, I did. I am greedy. I did cheat. I did lie. I did steal. Well, there was that one time. And one by one, they peeled off and they walked away. Right? Not one of them throwing a stone. Jesus looks up again. When he looked up again, only one that was standing there was the woman. And he said, where'd everybody go? What happened? What happened? She said, there's no one left but you, my Lord. So what did Jesus do? I love Jesus. Jesus said, no one left but me, huh? Then go and sin no more. Go try to behave yourself, okay? Stop being a hoe. Just go on about your business. And that was it.
That was it.
Story. That's it.
That's it. Mm-hmm.
Where's all the fire and brimstones? Where's all the you going to hell? What? That's it. This is Jesus. And then he went back to minding his business.
Which is what they need to do. Mind your damn business.
Which is what Tim Walls was running on. Mind your own goddamn business. You know, and with that, honestly and sincerely, those are my beliefs. That's my take on it. That's who I am. That's who I try to be. And I want to uplift whoever I can. And that's why, even though I'm tired, I'm achy and unsure, it's my hope that I can bring some comfort to somebody else. And the only way to do that, since I stay in the basement minding my own goddamn business, is to do it here on social media for as long as they allow us to do it. Because I, unlike some Negroes, understand that I don't own social media.
That's right.
Y'all got words before we head out?
I'll just say, Black women, get your rest and keep your head on swivel, everybody. Don't let them steal your joy.
Read, research, repeat. So we may get the words to you. It is your job to read, research, and repeat. We need you as well, because there might be something I missed, something JaVonne missed, something Terez, and your reading and researching can give us information back too.
Amen.
Definitely come back next week and join us with the Bishop, Reverend Pastor Kevin E. Taylor. And for now, stay strong, y'all. Peace.
Peace out.
Hi, everybody. You're in the basement with JaVonne and Terez. This is Melba Moore.
Still in the basement, no longer alone, with my homegirl Terez on the microphone. Music, politics, or just chatting it up. Brunch in the basement, see that's what's up. You never know who might run through. Legendary artist or someone brand new. You miss a lot when you miss one day. At least that's what I heard somebody say. But it doesn't really matter what whoever says. It's always a good show with JaVonne and Terez. Yeah. Brunch in the basement with JaVonne and Terez. Yeah. Let's see who we got today. Come on, everybody's a friend in my head. I already know everybody. Whatever it is, it's gonna be good. One day I'll tell you about me and Shaka Khan, but you know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but she doesn't know anything about it. But anyway. No, she doesn't. She wasn't even there actually. But anyway.
All our bosses though, Jay. Like she got our ears and
I'm gonna send y'all some. I'll definitely get an address. I'll send y'all out.
You can send me some cologne, because I mean, you know. Yeah. Just in case I should meet Shaka Khan, I want to smell really, you know, nice.
Oh God.
Okie dokie, babe. Whatever you say.
The time, so
and we thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yes,
well, thank you. This part, that little piece, I'm just gonna keep and play it all the time for myself. But no, I'm just teasing.